Hola, Remy and I are here right now in Cádiz, and can you believe how beautiful this is? We have been here 4 nights and are loving it so much for Easter weekend. Here he is now. Say hi. So Cadiz has been fantastic. I had 4 nights here and honestly wish I had more time. There's an amazing beach, so Playa Catala, that I've gone to every day. And unlike California, where I feel like you have to leave the beach by 4 p.m. because it's either getting foggy or windy and cold, you can stay here until sunset and it's still nice until the sun goes down. So that has been amazing. It's actually kind of better to go after 5 p.m. because it's less hot. Also, the history here is world class. So I started off my trip by taking a walking tour. The company was We Are Cadiz on TripAdvisor. I highly recommend it because I learned so much about the city and that there have been Phoenicians, Romans, and many other civilizations living here since this is one of the oldest cities in Europe. And a lot of these ruins from all these civilizations can be seen in the Museo Cadiz, and then also there's a Roman theater here that you can visit. So that's been very cool. Also, during this tour, I learned a bit more about the Semana Santa, which is also happening here. Luckily, it's a smaller city than Sevilla, so while it's still a huge deal here, it's a bit less chaotic just since it's less people, which is good because I love seeing these processions, but it was just so packed in Sevilla. So one of the things I finally learned was the significance behind the hats. So apparently during the Spanish Inquisition, which was a terrible time, they would wear the hats just as a cap with their face uncovered, and that was to shame them for being bad Catholics. So then when the Spanish Inquisition ended, they put a positive spin on it and they covered their faces with a cap and said it was humbling themselves before God. So that was very interesting to finally learn the meaning behind it and see some of the processions here. But I think you can come here anytime, not just Semana Santa week, and have a fantastic time. I can't believe how warm and beautiful it is already in early April. The beach has been amazing. The food is so good. The mercado here is delicious. And I think unlike some of the markets I saw in Lisbon, it's actually all Spanish people eating here. So it felt more authentic and just so good, like paella and so many other dishes like chicharrones. It was amazing. Definitely go there. Today I went inside the cathedral here, and that was such a cool experience on Easter. And I think the cathedral was even more stunning inside than I expected. So I highly recommend that as well. So definitely check out Cadiz. I will link some of my travel videos and then also some of my Semana Santa videos since I'm here Easter week, which has been so cool. So I will share some of my videos and tips for Cadiz next, but this is definitely a can't miss place, I think, and the weather is beautiful and Remy and I are loving it here. The amount of parks the city has is just a perfect place to bring a dog. I couldn't ask for better. The sunset watching here is definitely world class, and it's like the national sport, kind of like in Porto. So you can see the sunset set between two castles. I will definitely be going there again with Remy tonight, and yeah, it's just stunning. I can't believe how much there is to do here. I feel like 4 nights isn't enough. I wish I had another couple of days, especially since it's been so great to be relaxing on the beach. So I 100% recommend coming to Cadiz. It's a small town, so I feel like you can't go wrong no matter where you stay, since just walking all the way across town, it's like 20 minutes max. So I love that. But somehow it's so tiny with so much history and just so many beautiful things to see here. So I will share some of my videos and top places that I went in Cadiz now, and I hope this helps, and you should definitely check out Cadiz. Ciao everyone! So first we have the beautiful beach, Playa Catala. This beach was also in the James Bond film Die Another Day, and you may also recognize the architecture from Havana, Cuba, because the Cadiz builders also built a lot of the buildings in Havana. Next, we have Castillo San Sebastian. So this is one of the two castles that I mentioned surrounding the beach, and you can walk out to it. I didn't go inside, but sometimes they have art exhibits and other events there. Next, we have the Jardins de Alameda Apodaca. So this is a beautiful walkway along the water. I went here every day with Remy, and there are a lot of parks along this walkway that are just incredible and very nice. There's also cannons you'll see along this walkway from Napoleonic times. And there is a botanical gardens nearby, which is free, and all of this is very dog friendly, so I highly recommend checking it out. Next, we have the Cádiz Cathedral. The cathedral took over 100 years to build. There were a lot of issues. They had 3 different architects throughout the building process and ran out of money at one point. So you'll notice there's a different color at the top versus the bottom, and that's why, because they ran out of money. So the outside isn't necessarily the most impressive, but the inside is beautiful. It's very large, and the inside, it's kind of a different style than I've seen elsewhere. It's not quite as gilded, but it's still very beautiful inside. I definitely recommend checking it out. I was so lucky to be there actually on Easter during Semana Santa, so that was even more amazing. But here's the interior. You can see it's very impressive inside, and then next we will see the altar. So yes, definitely worth a visit to see. We'll also see here the pasos, which are the floats. So here's one now. These are in Semana Santa, so Holy Week. People will actually carry these on their necks as a sign of their devotion, even though these weigh thousands of pounds. But this is one of the Virgin Mary, and you'll see in a few minutes some of the actual processions where they're carrying these. But it was very cool to get the opportunity to see this inside the cathedral as they were used the next day in the procession. Next, we have the view from Torre Tavira. So this is a tower that you can go up with amazing viewpoints. And also here they have a camera obscura that you can see, which allows you to see the entire city. Next, we have Museo Cádiz. These are the sarcophagi of the Phoenicians. And then Teatro Romano. So this is the ruins of a Roman theater, which was awesome to see. Cadiz apparently has more Roman ruins than they even know what to do with, is what my guide said. So this is still the interior of the theater. It's pretty well preserved, so that was impressive. Then we have the Mercado de Cádiz. So this is the food hall that I mentioned earlier in the video. So delicious. I wanted to give everyone an up-close view of all of the things they have there. Lots of Iberico pork, which is definitely a specialty within Spain and Andalusia. So you should definitely get that there. They had paella with Iberico pork and seafood paella. It was all delicious. Apparently the coast of Spain, like Cadiz, is where you're supposed to get paella. It was just so good. Everything was reasonably priced. It was sangria, all kinds of desserts. This was definitely a top experience, and it was all very affordable. I loved it so much here. So I highly recommend going. You'll want to make many trips like I did. Okay, this is the Church of St. Anthony. The plaza it's in is very famous. There are a lot of wealthy merchants living here in the past, and also the Spanish Constitution was signed here. So Plaza España that we're seeing here now is actually commemorating the Constitution being signed in 1812, prompting war with Napoleon to get back their king. Okay, so now we are finally at Semana Santa. So this is one of the processions. This is the Paso that I mentioned. It's so amazing to see how devout these Catholics are, that they are called Nazarenos, so they're part of the Catholic Brotherhood. They carry these on their neck. And then you'll also see the Nazarenos in the hats, the capirotes that I saw earlier. But these processions are going on like 24 hours a day, all Easter week. And it's just amazing to experience. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and it made me even strangely emotional just to see how devoted the Spanish are to their Catholic faith. So in conclusion, Cadiz is so amazing. I had to devote an entire video to it. If you are staying in Sevilla, it's just a 1.5 hour train ride away, which the train was dog friendly, and it's a very dog friendly city, and I just highly recommend going. If you love the beach, you'll love it, but if you also love history, there's so much there, and definitely I think everyone going to Spain should add Cadiz to their list. Feel free to ask any questions you have about Cadiz in the comments. Ciao, everyone.